formed a relationship. You can't ignore those. You got to keep them warm. Relationships can't get cold. Keep them warm.
Let's kind of talk a little bit about marketing in your space, because it's sort of like the Wild West a little bit for personal injury lawyers. And you got your billboard merchants, and you've got your early morning TV caricatures. How have you been able to grow your business without those tactics?
Well, we've grown by a recognition that we can't and don't want to compete on that same medium. I'd say at least 50% of my firm's business is referral business. It comes from other lawyers who recognize that they don't have the specialty and expertise and financial wherewithal that we have to pursue cases. But we would prefer a lot higher percentage of direct contacts where it's the client coming directly to us as opposed to from a lawyer referral where that lawyer is entitled to a portion of the fee and should be. So we have been evaluating just, do we dip our toe into the TV situation? Thus far, we have elected not to do that. We have been in some projects where, like on drugs, say if it's Ozempic or something like that, where we enter into a consortium with other lawyers that specialize in that, and we do advertising in a consortium. We also do an awful lot of speaking and teaching so that we keep our image out there in public, hoping that I'm building a foundation that those people might be in somebody else's network. So that's the direct marketing that we do.
Interesting. So you said that hopefully your investment in education and, being a trusted advisor has benefited you, but certainly you've gotten some direct benefit from those efforts, or else you wouldn't keep doing it. Although I think you care enough to do it. Certainly you've had some direct benefit. Yeah?
Yeah, material benefit, certainly. Couldn't keep the doors open without it. But there's always that concern of 5 years down the road. What's the trajectory? What trends are going on in the law? That's the game. It's not what's happening today. It's where we're going to be 5 years from now, because society and technology is so rapidly advancing. I have to anticipate, okay, what's the next hurdle that I have to help the younger generation, the millennials and the Gen Zers that are in my firm, be sustainable. They have to help me to understand. There's got to be a cohort there because they're in that technology. I think our relationship is symbiotic because we have the same goal. What can be passed down from the old man? What can be passed up from the younger group? And where does that trajectory take us?
From talking to lawyers, I think one of the hardest jobs you guys have is that professionally you're a lawyer, but you're also in sales, and you're also in marketing, and you're also in business development. Like, you have a lot of jobs that you have to carry. And so, somebody that's coming out or coming up, like what kind of advice would you give them?
Well, I'd say you have to market first if you're just coming out. Once you've been established for 5 or 10 years, you can focus more on the trial work and getting your name out there in a professional basis. But I think at the outset, it's going to end up being 70-30, 70 being the marketing and 30 being the actual practice of law. And then hopefully it can become the actual practice of law that supports the marketing. But it's going to take time to get there, and you have to be relentless. Go places, Sunday schools, beauty salons, wherever you can, to meet people and form a relationship. It may not be, hey, yeah, I want you as my lawyer. For a while, it's just, hey, this is a really nice guy. And by the way, what do you do? Well, I'm a lawyer who does personal injury. You formed a relationship. You can't ignore those. You got to keep them warm. Relationships can't get cold. Keep them warm.
You don't need them until you need them. And so you have to be building that familiarity in those relationships with people. So when they go, oh, that's right, I met Steven the other day. He actually might be able to help us with this thing. Because it's all about timing and being, having that mind share. And social is a very, very inexpensive way to do that, especially compared to the cost of a TV ad and running TV campaigns and how much reach and frequency you have to produce in order to generate that, that return.
Well, if somebody contacts me and say it's not something that I'm inclined or anybody in my firm is inclined to do, I know the pipeline and I can give them a couple of names that are well respected, and you don't get charged for that. So don't be reluctant to seek advice from an expert in one area to see if he's networked with someone in another area and can make a recommendation.
I think that's brilliant advice. I mean, this is going to be a hard thing to do, but I'd even like to see, like, you said it takes time and there's a runway to it. I mean, if someone were to go, how long is it going to take? It depends is the answer, but what kind of timeline would you say, like, you're looking at it going this long before it's really going to give you what you want out of it?
I'd say 3 to 5 years. Now, if you've linked up with a firm, you got a head start because you got the brand of the firm behind you, and you can use that to your benefit, and the firm can use your brand. Because each of us has to recognize, I think, in my firm of 18 lawyers, I tell each of them, you are each a business. Build your personal brand. I'll give you what I have built, which gives you a head start, but you have got to build your business and your brand.
I love it. That's great. Stephen, that was fantastic.
No less than, right?
I really enjoyed that. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, what would be the best way for them to find you?
Well, the best way is Heninger, Garrison, Davis is the name of my firm. To go to the website. Then I do a trial lawyer's blog, which is called Trialnasium. You can Google it. I use it for LinkedIn, my network, and I put out a lot of stuff, which is very transparent. I've gotten to the age where I still compete, but I want to pay forward. So I'm transparent about what the angles are that lawyers pursue and what works, what doesn't work, storytelling, and what does that really mean with a jury. Are you making up a story or are you delivering a story that really happened? But it's got a twist to it, just like the defense has a twist. That's a good way to get to know me, to go and look at Trialnasium.